have a very special guest in studio with us. We do. Bruce Haymes, welcome to
Howdy.
Southern FM.
I don't know about very special, but I'm here
Well,
anyway.
you are.
Oh, you are extremely special.
Well, when I look at your extensive CV, I find I'm doing a bit of digging around. You've done a few things, Bruce.
Look, I suppose I have. I've had a few lucky breaks along the way, and I've just had a good time doing it and doing what I enjoy.
Started around, what, 76?
77-ish, I suppose.
Yeah. Now, was it a musical family you came from?
I did. My mum's family all played piano.
Right.
And we had a piano in the corner of the lounge room.
As one did in those days.
And no TV, because I come from Bright in the northeast.
Right.
So no telly, a piano. So I played piano from when I could reach the keys.
Yes.
And just always obsessed with music.
Yeah.
My folks said as soon as I could crawl, I'd crawl to the radiogram in the corner and wait for something to go on. At the age of 6 months or whatever.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it's just always been a life obsession. So, yeah.
Well, it is amazing. Talking about life obsessions, I mean, some of the things here on your CV are quite remarkable. A member of the Bachelors from Prague in 1985-91.
Yep.
House band for ABC TV's The Big Gig, which I used to watch religiously.
Great show.
Oh,
Yeah.
loved
Yeah.
it. Oh, what a wild show.
Is the word.
Yeah. Member of the Paul Kelly Band, and also member of the Vicar and Linda Bull Band, Renee Geyer, Leo Sayer, James Rain, Mark Seymour, Archie Roach, and also you're the A.R.I.A award. You won the A.R.I.A award for writing the music to the film Lantana, which I am so glad to meet you, Bruce, because that music is just bloody sensational.
That was one of those lucky breaks I was talking about. The director of the film, Ray Lawrence, loved Paul Kelly. He's a big fan, and I was playing in Paul's band at the time.
Right.
And Ray came to a few shows and particularly liked a song that Paul and I did, just piano and voice.
Yeah.
And he said he originally asked Paul to do the music for the film.
Right.
In that style, the song that he liked. And so Paul thought, okay, I'll get the core of the band to do the music all as one. And so we all got footage of the film and pretty much kind of set up in the studio and played watching the footage. So it was a very organic way of writing a film score rather than just sitting down with a bit of paper. And, you know what I mean? It was like, it just seemed to suit that film somehow.
The music, it is amazing.
It did just. I look at it and go, "Wow, did we do that?" Yeah, it just fitted the film somehow.
Do you find that music that just sort of flows out of your pen is better than the stuff you really have to think about?
I think so. That's the kind of guy I am. I've never been a great reader or writer. It's all coming from wherever it comes out of. You know? If you know what I mean. I'm not really I did a music degree at La Trobe Uni, so I have a Bachelor of Arts in Music, but I like to think I'm more of a intuitive kind of guy in music. Like playing, I never have an idea of what I'm going to do at any particular time. It just happens.
Right. Amazing music.
Well, I asked Bruce to bring in some actual music that you would like to have and that you featured on.
Yep.
And perhaps it's a good time to have a first music break.
Yeah.
And have a listen to this track. It's a Renee Geyer number.
The great Renee Geyer, yeah. I particularly like this song. For a start, I'll get a bit of a intro on the piano.
Right.
But I love its genre. It's like country soul music or something. It's a combination of those two things that I love. It's a bit of soul, a bit of country. So, and Renee's voice.
And it's a brilliant
What could go wrong?
Renee Geyer with Midnight Train
to Georgia.
Check this out.
Played that song many times. I didn't play on the original.
You didn't?
No.
That's when it entered the charts.
Yeah. I played with Russell from about 80 to 84.
He's still going.
I know. I see him around the traps all the time. He's still a great guy. I love him. He's such a sweetheart.
Wow.
That voice. I still get goose flesh listening to that. Believe it or not.
Isn't it amazing?
Oh.
What an amazing track.
It's-
What was... Sorry.
No, just saying it's a great song and
Great
beautifully
song.
sung. What
Yeah.
were your...
I was going to ask you, what was Renee Gaya like to work with?
She's incredible. She's such what I was saying about intuitive before, she is the ultimate intuitive musician. Doesn't read music, doesn't really know what chords are going on, but just intuitively has that
She
gift.
nails it.
Absolutely has the gift. Yeah, it's just the live shows are just unbelievable all the time. Really, it's just it's one of the great.
It's funny me asking you what was Renee Gaya like. It's like when you go to visit someone in hospital, you very rarely speak to the person you come to see. You always say, "What's wrong with him over there?" But anyway,
it's true, isn't it?
It is true, but she really was amazing, and she's one of my favourite artists.
Yeah, yep,
Great
totally agree. Yeah,
Great singer.
Without a doubt.
Now, Paul Kelly and Archie Roach. Archie Roach we're going to have a track from shortly. Tell us a little bit about your...
I got called in to play on Archie's albums often as a session guy
Right.
over the years, and always loved the guy. He's what I call a country soul guy. He's got elements of both that sort of music in his style,
Right.
which I particularly love. And I'd be disgracing myself playing on these sessions. I'd be in tears. He moved me so much. That voice.
Yeah.
I honestly would be playing in tears. It was embarrassing. And so about 5 years ago, his producer rang up and said, "Can you do a live tour?" I said, "Of course." And it was quite a big tour around Haymes Hall and the bigger theatres around Australia.
Right.
And that went off really well. Yeah, it was a massive show with a choir and a brass section and blah, blah. And so since then, I've kind of been his live keyboard player. And at the moment, it's just Archie, myself, and Sally Dasty on vocal and guitar. So it's a very much stripped down trio now.
Sounds like it's good, though.
Great.
And that's what you're currently engaged.
Currently doing. That's my main thing at the moment.
Wow.
Other bits and pieces as you do, but
Have you recorded as a trio?
we haven't done that trio. I think a couple of tracks on the latest
I'll
album
buy it.
might be quite acoustic, but nothing with that lineup as yet.
I'll buy it.
Yeah, well, we'll sell one.
Well, that's the other thing. Producing stuff, you've got to get a major label behind you.
That's the thing.
I know we had a friend of ours, Patrick Roberts, who's the violinist,
Yeah.
brilliant
Yeah.
violinist, and he's got a new album coming out and it's just been released, but he's signed by Sony,
Yeah,
and that helps. But
it helps.
oh God, trying to get something out.
Well, the battle is getting it heard by people. You
Yes.
have the greatest musician in the world and no one knows who the hell he is.
Yeah.
So it's that difficult process of getting that guy into the public eye. And that's where those labels, that's the job they're supposed to do.
That's right.
Sure.
So many great musicians I know, nobody knows who the hell they are because they haven't got the talent to get out there.
You can't take it to radio until you get a label.
Something to give it a bit of clout somehow, so people will go, "I'll listen to that." But getting to that step is the hard bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we get a lot of CDs sent to us here.
Yeah.
And some of them are mediocre, but some of them are very good.
Well,
and
exactly.
you think, well,
Well, AMRAP, who's the arm of the was a Community Broadcasting Federation, they send us quite a lot of stuff from new people. And Peter Tullich is our music director, and we pride ourselves on a lot of Australian stuff.
Yeah.
So,
But it's just hard to hear all of it, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
There's so much stuff coming out. I find the same thing. I'm looking for new music, but how the hell do you find it? It's it's there's a huge amount coming out. How do you get your thing across to the public? That's the battle these days.
it is. It's very, very hard. We're going to have this Archie Roach track. I'm just waiting for some messages to come onto our screen. We'll run those, and then we'll go straight into... What's the track we're playing?
It's called Let Love Rule.
Track number 1, isn't it?
Yeah, number one.
Let Love Rule.
Yeah, favourite of mine. A bit of a
You're a feature on this?
Well, strange enough, I am.
Oh, well,
You wouldn't know I picked them, would you?
funny about that. Okay, I've got these up. Let's just let me do that and move that over there, and then we'll have these, and then we'll be right back with that Archie Roach try.
Overcomes us, and we cannot find our way.
Oh,
Wow.
Gospel-y, eh?
yes,
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
I was taken to a Baptist church in.
Pretty much. A little interesting story about that track, guys, was that was the first take for the bass player and myself.
Right,
Archie and the choir recorded, and we were called in to play afterwards.
right.
And it was the first take. I can hear myself being a little tentative on a couple of changes because I wasn't sure what was going on.
Yeah.
But probably just other people can't hear it.
No one else.
Yeah,
No,
that's right.
I never
You wouldn't
noticed it at
recognise
all.
it, wouldn't-
I can well understand his voice bringing tears to your eyes. But
It does. He's just a very soulful singer, that
oh,
guy.
gosh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And he's been through a lot the last 10 years or so it's even more poignant for me. He's had a lot of health issues, and his wife passed away. And so, yeah, he's hanging in there.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Good
Now,
on him.
just looking down this CV here, you've played on over 150 albums and 15 films as a session musician.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, well, again, it's a lucky break when you get your name in the pool
Yeah,
and people want something on a recording.
yeah,
They kind of know what you do and they'll get you in. And if you're fairly a bit of a quick worker, it's even better.
yes.
Studio time,
Exactly.
you know. And I guess I get asked to do a lot of stuff. Play. I record at home as well, so I get sent a lot of tracks to play keyboards on, and I can send the keyboard tracks back to whoever. That's the way it works these days.
That's good.
Yeah, I love it. I don't have to get in the car and drive anywhere. And, I can do it at midnight or whenever I feel in the mood.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
I mean, when you consider how records used to be made,
I
mean,
know.
you had to be there.
Yeah, and often it was played live as a band. Then that changed during the 80s to being overdubbing.
Yeah.
And now it's like people not even in the same country.
Well, that's right. It's incredible. I remember last week we were talking. We played one of the duets from Frank Sinatra,
Oh yes.
and he wasn't in the.
Yeah.
He laid his tracks down.
Yeah.
And then the singers would come in and
Yeah.
Natalie Cole.
yeah,
Yeah.
Natalie Cole, and work to them. And in the case of I think the Spanish Julio Iglesias, he was in Spain.
Well, Natalie Cole did one with her dad when he was dead.
That's right.
That's the extreme case.
I mean, that is weird.
The song was
Remember? No.
No, it was.
the beautiful one.
Oh, my
Nat
God.
King Cole and Natalie did the version, and they put
Yes.
the two together.
Yeah.
There's another classic case of that with Jim Reeves and Patsy Cline.
Right.
They never recorded together, but
Yeah.
the RCA engineers got this
Yeah.
one particular track that they both recorded and mixed it.
Jim Reeves is an interesting person because he was a huge star. When he died, everything died with him.
Yeah.
His music isn't played anymore. Or,
Don't hear it a lot.
you don't, do you?
No, I'm sure a lot of younger folks were influenced by him, and that lives on.
He was one of the ones that died in a plane crash flying from another.
Gee, there
one
was a
gig
lot of
club.
that.
Well, Patsy Cline went the same way.
Yeah.
Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper.
Yeah.
Richie Valens and killed in the. That's the song with the day the music died.
Yeah.
American
Yes.
Pie.
Yes.
That's what that relates to.
Dangerous era. I was just reading about Eddie Cochran was killed in a taxi
Yeah.
ride in Britain.
Exactly right. In Britain.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, he was over there. It's, these days, don't go out of the house.
I know.
I
It's
really
safer
don't-
to stay home and record it.
Now, you were sole music advisor on Sydney Olympic planning.
Now that was a left field one for me. I got rung up by the people organising. It was a seminar to organise the Olympics about maybe 9 months before the actual event.
Yeah, so what was 2000? What were we talking, 2000?
2000?
2000,
Yeah. And I was called in to advise on placement of music in the to do with the Olympics. to be honest, I had no idea what they expected from me. I went up, but it was a week seminar. They put me up in a 5-star hotel in the city.
Lovely.
Went up every day to the site, and they had various seminars between architects and all sorts of people from France. It was the most amazing period. And I hope I put something into the pot with the design, sound design. It was a bit of an odd one for me, but I think I got through it.
Well,
I think they took some.
it was amazing.
To be even asked, it was.
The thing that impressed me about the Olympics was the horses coming out and riding around with the flags and the dries of bones and the
Oh, it looked wonderful, didn't
and
it?
that was who was the little girl that she came down?
Nikki Webster.
Nikki
Yes.
Webster.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
That was
we've come of age. We really have.
That was one of the best opening ceremonies. I think it was excellent. And
It was stunning.
now, there's something else on your CV here, Bruce, that I find rather intriguing. Music director of Nukken Ya Ruby,
Yes.
the Sydney Festival. What was Nukken
That was
Ya Ruby?
when Ruby passed away. That was Archie Roach's wife, who was a great singer in her own right. Great, actually. And she passed away, and Archie and at the time, his musical director asked me to put that show together, celebrating her life and her songs. And so it was great. I got to organise the band and coach everybody through the show, sort of. Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot.
Oh, that's,
And
sorry, go on, you go.
And I was going to say that as well as being a mood pianist and playing for people like Archie Roach, etc., you were also in the Triffids, which is a
The day of.
Again, that was a bit of a lucky break. I'd played on Paul Kelly's tour, he had Graham Lee on pedal steel, who was in the Triffids back in the 80s. And Dave, the singer from the Triffids, passed away, poor guy. And they had a tour to kind of celebrate the life of David, and he asked me to come along and play piano on that tour, which was the best fun. He's such a good songwriter, very underrated. Dave McComb, this is. And I got to play on the tour, and very good venues, festivals around Australia and things like that. I enjoyed that immensely.
Well, the Triffids were a huge band.
Yeah, especially in Europe, more so than here, funny enough.
Really?
Yeah, they lived in Europe for a good amount of their life, probably for 4 or 5 years, I think. And so they were bigger in Europe than actually here.
And the days with the Triffids, was it as wild as people might imagine?
I assume so. I came in later, when everyone was a little bit older and perhaps wiser.
Right.
And me being a quietly living gent, I didn't really take part in any of that anyway.
No, I understand.
That's probably why I'm still around.
Yeah, I understand. I toured with Manfred Mann.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was the compere on one of his shows.
He was the do did he?
Well, I'm a massive fan of Manfred Mann.
Really?
I could talk for hours about that, but I won't.
Well, and every night there's all these hundreds of girls waiting outside the stage door, and I'd walk out and people wouldn't recognise me. So I thought, what I'll do one night. So I've got some dark glasses,
Is this clean?
and I
Can
turn.
this be told?
Where's this going?
I turn my collar up like this. And,
cool, right.
Yeah, look really cool. And as I got through, I started to run. And
Brilliant.
of course, they all
Brilliant manoeuvre.
ran up.
Hang on, I'm
after
taking
me.
notes.
But when they found out who I was, it all died.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so-
Well, you had your moment of glory anyway.
He did.
Yeah.
He did have his moment of glory. We've got another music track, and I know that we've got to leave fairly shortly, so we might get into this one, Bruce. It's a number. Paul Kelly was one of the great bands.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
He's such a gentleman. It was a great, great band. The other players were just amazing. And I brought this track to play. I don't play such a major part in the track, but I had to bring it because it's my favourite Paul song. Yeah, it's my favourite song of his, and it was just a pleasure to be a part of that track, so I had to include it.
Well, Bruce Haymes, thank you so much. We're going to close out this interview with this piece of music.
Pleasure,
It's
absolute
been
pleasure.
an absolute pleasure to talk with you, and you've had a terrific career in Australian music, and
Thank
well
you,
done
yeah.
to you.
Yeah, well,
It's not often that you get to interview an ARIA winning artist. So.
Indeed. And I'd just like to add that as well as being so forthright and giving with our interview, if you ever get the chance to meet Bruce, he's the most charming gentleman you could ever wish to meet.
He is indeed.
And
you're now my manager.
and thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you, it was a
Bruce.
pleasure.
was
Thanks,
terrific.
Bruce. Here's Paul Kelly and the band with How to Make Gravy.
Thank you, guys. That was fun.
Yeah.
Who doesn't enjoy talking about themselves?
Proved too much for the man, so he's leaving a life he's come to know.